Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do a real-time speed painting video. So I'm going to be making a little painting of a sunset I have for an upcoming event. It's like a charity event. I made a video about it earlier this week, painting the northern lights, and today they also requested kind of like a sunset beach painting, but I want to challenge myself, so I have to do it in 15 minutes. And so today is going to be a real-time speed paint. The video is going to hopefully be just about 15 minutes of painting, and we'll see how close I can get to a completed painting in just 15 minutes. So stay tuned. Okay, so as we start, you can see I may have cheated a little bit. I don't know if you consider it cheating or not, but I did draw a couple little lines on the paper. I didn't have to draw these lines. I could have done this without them, so I consider it not cheating. I just put them on here so you guys kind of know what's going on while it's happening. And so the first step that I want to do is I want to get my sky and my base colors covered in properly before I can do anything else. So sunset, the sun's going to stay white because we want it to be the brightest part of the painting. And then around it, we're going to go kind of yellow to red to purpley, almost blue at the top. And so you see me very lightly putting that in. And then for the water itself, we're going to do similar ideas, but it's going to be much darker because we want it to reflect the light from the sun, but we don't want it to be as bright as the sky. The sky is typically going to be much brighter than the water is going to be. And so you can see me kind of darkening the water a little more than I would for the sky. Same thing with the sand, just kind of a neutral gray tone. Not super bright, not super dark, somewhere in the middle, so I can put shadows on it if I need to. And now that those base colors are in, we can do the fun part. You see, I'm starting here with a very bright yellow. I'm going to be putting in what is essentially the clouds here. And we're going to kind of go from, like we did earlier, bright yellow right around the sun to orangey, reddy, purpley blue toward the top with our clouds. And so you'll see me coming in here. Now, it's important to mention that I'm not thinking very hard about what shapes I'm making. I'm just letting my brush decide where it's going to go, just kind of randomly applying these colors. And that's going to help me get a more natural look. So I don't want to paint a cloud, I'm not trying to, these little tiny, super simple clouds like you did in kindergarten. They're much more amorphous than that typically. And I want to fill almost the whole sky with them. And so you can see me kind of working my way up here, getting a little closer to purple and blue as I get higher and higher, and letting the brush decide where the paint's going to go instead of me trying to force it to do what I think it should be doing. We're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the clouds to the water as well, but I'm going to be, just like earlier, a lot darker in the water than I was in the sky. So we're going to kind of radiate outward instead of upward or downward in this case for the sky. And right underneath the sun, we're going to keep it really bright, like the reflection on the water, and go yellow, red, orange, purple, but very quickly so that we can have some dark water for a good bit of contrast in our painting. So now we can move on to the foreground. I intend to put some kind of grass or like seagrass, some sort of vegetation here. I'm not exactly sure particular species or anything, just kind of what I think looks nice. However, in order to do that, we got to put a little bit of shadow in the sand first. And then when I come in to add my seagrasses, I don't want to add another color to this painting. So I'm going to use colors that I've already used for my grass in the foreground. So you'll see that I'm painting it kind of red and maybe a little bit of purple, which is not the color that seagrass normally is going to be, or the grasses that you'd find on the beach. They're going to be brown, they're going to be green, but it's a sunset. And so the colors are very drastic and they're very vibrant. And in order to keep the painting more simple, so I don't have to go and mix 100 colors for this, I'm going to do colors that I already have used in the painting themselves. I think it turns out well, so I'm not too concerned about it. So now we're at my favorite part of any painting. The majority of the work is done, so now I get to refine. So you can see I'm going to come in and add some more details to the clouds that I think need them. Maybe I will detail a little bit more of the water or some of the grass or some of the sand. I'm not working on any spot in particular anymore. I'm kind of letting my eyes flow through the painting and see what areas I think are not quite to the same level of satisfaction as any other areas. And I'm just kind of pulling everything up together until I get to a point where I'm happy with the final result.
Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look the other way? Sun is out, but the sky is gray. What would happen if I took a chance? It's always hard at first glance. I don't wanna, but I know I gotta do it. The truth is hard to swallow, I think I'll chew it.
So as you can probably see here, I went to go sign the painting, but while I was sitting there about to sign it, I thought, maybe this would look nice with a little bit of pen on it. And I had some extra time. I think I got about 2 or 3 minutes left at this point. And so what I'm going to do is come in and add a little bit of pen definition to some areas that I think could use it. For example, the grass in the foreground, maybe a little bit on the shoreline, a little on the horizon. I'm not going to do any more work in the clouds, I don't think. Maybe a little bit of white pen around the sun to cover up those pencil lines, but I want to keep the clouds very loose and not very defined. But I want to, maybe the things in the foreground that are a little more in focus, I want to make sure those are in focus. So we're going to put some dark lines on that, and then we can go ahead and sign the painting. And there we go. What almost ended up being exactly 15 minutes of work got me to this stage where I am now. And I would say that that is a pretty good painting. I'm really happy with the final result. Let me grab it here so you guys can see it on the screen. And here we go with it in the frame. And so once again, I've got a lot of lights going on in here. So I will take this outside so you can see it a little better. But I'm very happy with this final result. I think the painting turned out really good. No complaints, no notes. Hopefully the group that is going to be using this for their charity really enjoys it. I think it's cool. If they don't like it, I'll take it back from them. How's that sound? But that's going to do it, I think. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the standard YouTube things. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this painting. If you want to challenge me to make something else in 15 minutes, do so. I would love to try some of your guys' challenges. I think that's about it, though. So can't wait to see you guys in the next one. And let's cut to some glamour shots.
But you can't hide. Can't